Sam Bankman-Fried was worth $26 million and was found on the cover of Fortune and Forbes magazines. In this video, discover his astonishing admission during a YouTube interview and find out his weird choice of accounting software, which was like using a cell phone to shoot Life of Pi. Sam Bankman-Fried lost everything as he went from prince of the world to a pauper on trial. As a rising entrepreneur, the so-called king of crypto, once thought to be the next Warren Buffett, made the Forbes 30 under 30 list of young movers and shakers. But now SBF, as he is also known, is facing charges that could carry a 115-year sentence. As he is currently 30 years old, if he's convicted, the prospects of life after jail don't look especially bright. For most people who aren't familiar with cryptocurrency and the landscape of the digital currency world, SBF might just be a newsfeed headline dripping with scandal. But exactly who is Sam Bankman-Fried? What does he have to do with the crypto market, questionable political campaign contributions, and billions of dollars of OPM, or other people's money? Before SBF went on to found his crypto company FTX and create the digital currency known as FTT, he was the son of Stanford law professors and an M.I.T. graduate who majored in physics and minored in mathematics. It was at M.I.T. that he met Gary Wang, the mathematics computer science major, who along with SBF later co-founded FTX, the cryptocurrency platform that dealt mostly in the FTT token that Fried created. Not much is known about the elusive Wang, except that he was the chief technology officer of FTX and one of 10 roommates who lived with Bankman-Fried in a multi-million-dollar penthouse in the Bahamas. There's also Wang's confession, which we'll get to later. But first, let's go back to the founding of SBF's first company, Alameda Research, which was a crypto trading hedge firm and his first real push into the financial stratosphere. This was possible through his use of arbitrage, a trading strategy involving the purchase of Bitcoin in the American exchanges and selling it on the Korean exchange where Bitcoin was worth more. The difference, or spread in value, was a profit of up to 50%, something known as the kimchi premium. He would later replicate this to a lesser degree using the Japanese market. Lucrative as it was, there might have been something rotten in Hong Kong, where Alameda Research set up its HQ in 2018. The company's co-founder, Tara McAuley, put it this way: "I started Alameda Research with Sam in 2017. In April 2018, I and a group of others all quit, in part due to concerns over risk management and business ethics." One could wonder what kind of ethics concerns she was alluding to. Were they the same sort that Bankman-Fried allegedly committed? One of these allegations involved a conflict of interest in how Alameda Research and FTX operated and were aligned in a kind of mutualistic relationship. The crux of the alleged wrongdoing is that customer funds had been borrowed from FTX to cover shortfalls at Alameda, which often invested on margin. Put another way, other people's money was funding Bankman-Fried's investment, and without their knowing it. Federal prosecutors also charged that SBF not only engaged in this fraudulent misappropriation, but that he had intended to do so from the outset. This is a heavy charge. Put in proper perspective, it means that FTX customer assets, their life savings, children's college funds, and otherwise hard-earned money totaling $4 to $8 billion was sucked into a digital wormhole connecting FTX and its sister company Alameda. This was allegedly achieved by means of a backdoor that FTX's Gary Wang inserted into, quote, millions of lines of code for the exchange, creating a line of credit from FTX to Alameda to which customers did not consent. If the charges are true, then SBF might have been violating his own guiding philosophy known as effective altruism. In short, effective altruism aims to leverage evidence and reason to help as many people as possible. It is unclear whether the alleged fraud aligns with the concept of helping people. But it was true, however, that perhaps motivated by effective altruism, Fried has donated to many causes, He made large public contributions, mostly to the Democratic Party, contributions which allegedly included customer assets diverted from FTX. But in a bizarre twist, SBF astonishingly admitted to having donated an almost equal amount to the Republican Party by funneling dark money through non-profits. This involves putting theoretically limitless money into the hands of non-profits that the donor knows support certain political causes. When the nonprofit turns around and hands money to politicians, the wealthy donor can cite plausible deniability, stating that the money was given to such and such a charity, and there was no knowledge of where it would end up after that. Unfortunately for him, SBF admitted to all this during a YouTube interview last October. This brought yet another charge upon him and increased the level of scrutiny even further. This was not something that he needed. Alameda Research had all but imploded by November of 2022 after a leaked document revealed that more than half of Alameda's assets were held in crypto, specifically FTT and a few others, which was overvalued since SBF was essentially conferring value upon it himself. There were billions of dollars of outstanding loans to account for and little to no liquidity to pay back lenders. On the 6th of November, Fried's competitor and CEO of Binance, CZ, announced his intention to sell his holdings of FTT, stating that because of recent revelations that have come to light, we have decided to liquidate any remaining FTT on our books. This caused a bank run and massive sell-off of FTT tokens, tanking its value and causing both Alameda Research and FTX to collapse due to illiquidity and insolvency. This caused a domino effect impacting hundreds of companies that were intertwined with FTX and Alameda. Both companies filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, causing a massive upheaval in the crypto world and devaluation of crypto coins, amounting to more than $100 billion. In the aftermath, Gary Wang, FTX co-founder, pleaded guilty on several charges of fraud. Carolyn Ellison, CEO of Alameda Research, likewise pleaded guilty. Fried remained in his penthouse in the Bahamas. Of note, both Gary Wang and Carolyn Ellison were at one point among SBF's roommates in his $40 million penthouse in Albany, Bahamas. Insider sources claim that the living and working arrangements were less than professional, involved drug use, no independent board of directors, relationships amongst co-workers, and conflicts of interest. One of these conflicts involved Ellison, the CEO of Alameda Research, literally living in the same house as Bankman-Fried, the owner of FTX. She was also his one-time girlfriend, which made it so that Alameda was literally in bed with FTX. The above appears to lend credence to the charge that FTX was poorly structured, understaffed, unscrupulous, and lacking in internal oversight. After SBF resigned from FTX, John J. Ray of Enron fame was brought in to take over. After he assessed the situation, he concluded, "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information. From compromised systems integrity and faulty regulatory oversight, to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals. This situation is unprecedented." Ray states that employee requests received approval by Emoji, and that the billion-dollar company used QuickBooks, which, if you're not familiar with, is an accounting software that one would expect to be used at a local nail salon, not a top Forbes 100 company. Whether it was these amateurish business practices or the alleged fraud that brought about his demise, almost overnight, SBF's wealth went from $20 billion to about $100,000, which he says he has in the bank but has limited access to. He maintains his innocence and has been placed under house arrest. He is now at his parents' home in Palo Alto. The trial is set for October. Thanks again for coming, for liking, for commenting, for sharing, and for subscribing. Let me know what you think in the comments below.